everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Topshelfoldies. Want to welcome you to the July 11th, 2020 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this really horrible, hot, and humid day, and I cannot stand this type of weather. I went out to see Barbara a little bit today, and I in the front of the house, and I started choking and coughing. I had to take a Mucinex, so hopefully I won't be coughing here tonight during the show. But welcome to the Vinyl Treasure Show. Got some cool 50s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. We just opened up tonight's show with Jimmy Wright and his orchestra with a tune called Move Over, which George Goldner released actually 2 times, initially on the Rama, actually 3 times on the Rama label, Rama 189. He flipped it with a song called 2:20 a.m. Then the same size came out on Rama 205, and lastly a 45 that I just featured on George Goldner's G label, flipped with Lily Maybell Mambo. And again, that's Jimmy Wright and his orchestra. March 1956 is called Move Over. Johnny G going to move over for the vocal portion now. So let's open up the vocal portion with a group from Brooklyn, New York. It features Cleo Baker on lead. It's on George Goldner's Cindy label, 1957, to open up the vocal portion on Cindy with Cleo and the Crystaliers. It's called Please Be My Guy. La 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 We open up the vocal portion there with Cleo and the Crystaliers. Cleo Baker on lead, 1957 release. Please Be My Guy is the name of that one on George Goldner's Cindy record label. Now, originally this first came out on Hiram Johnson's Johnson label as the Crystaliers, but Hiram cut a deal with George Goldner and the group re-recorded the song with slightly different arrangement, and Goldner put it out on the Cindy label. Now the lead singer, her name is Cleo Baker. She would form a group called the Fawns in 1958 with a release on the Apt label. I'm sure many of you know the tune Until I Die, a great tune. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we head to Philadelphia, PA next for the Silhouettes. had a monster national hit with Get a Job, and let's give a listen to their follow-up. It features the bass lead of the group, Raymond Edwards. He's on lead. This one from March 1958, the Silhouettes on the Ember label. It's called Headin' for the Poorhouse.
Yip, 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 bop, yip, 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 bop, yip, 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 bop, yip.
Well, look here, baby, tell me what we gonna do. Seem like me and money are through. The last little silver we spent in town, cause all of my money hasn't really turned brown because
we're heading for the poorhouse, baby. Just strange as it may sound.
But we're heading for the poorhouse, cause all of my money turned brown.
Yip, 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 bop, yip, 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 yip.
Well, I remember, baby, long time ago, had so much money it was laying on the floor. We had a Pontiac car and wasn't way up on top, but things has changed. We really got to stop because we're
heading for the poorhouse, baby. Just strange as it may sound.
We're heading for the poorhouse, cause all my money turned brown.
Yip, 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 bop, yip.
It may seem strange, but facts is facts. I spent all my money, now we're both black. I never should have spent my money so fast. So come on, baby, we may as well pack because we're
heading for the poorhouse, baby. Just strange as it may sound.
But we're heading for the poorhouse, cause all my money turned brown.
Yip, 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 bop, yip, 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 bop, yip, 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 bop, yip, 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 bop, yip, 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 bop.
Oh, that's a cold ending there on that one there. That's the follow-up to Get a Job by the Silhouettes there, March 1958. The bass lead, Raymond Edwards, on lead for that one. The second of three on Ember, Heading for the Poorhouse. As Dave the Rave mentions, buying these records can head you to the poorhouse for sure. But that's their second of three by the Silhouettes on the Ember label. And Dick Clark, he was very instrumental with making Get a Job a big hit for the Silhouettes, but some argument arose between Dick and Kay Williams. He managed the Silhouettes, and Clark decided not to promote that record, so he did not play that on American Bandstand, and it was probably revolving around something with publishers or something. You know how these guys in the music industry are so greedy with the money and everything else, but unfortunately that never became a hit for the Silhouettes. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, here's a flip side from last week. I pulled out not a lot this week, but I do have about 10 or 11, and last week Joe Shakatana requested the debut single for the Swallows. The song was called Will You Be Mine, which was a big number 9 R&B Billboard hit for them, but I like the flip too. Actually, both sides of this 45 written by the second tenor of the group, Junior Denby, and the group's arranger. His name is Billy Conrad. And it again features Eddie Rich on lead. Let's go back to May 1951. We count down the music chronologically here on the 50s edition. These are the Swallows on the King label. It's called Dearest.
I shouldn't wonder why they call you such names as dearest, and why the people passing by stop and stare. Am I the victim of a foolish love affair? You know how much I love you, but you don't care. I'd be without you if I listen to things about you. I can't get free, 'cause my heart says you're dearest to me. Dearest to me.
I shouldn't wonder why they call you such names as dearest, and why the people passing by all stop and stare.
Am I the victim of a foolish love affair? You know how much I love you, but you don't care. I'd be without you if I listen to things about you. I can't get free, 'cause my heart says you're dearest to me.
Yeah, those are the Swallows. The Swallows, Eddie Rich on lead there. What a great two-sided 45 there, the Swallows. That's Dearest. May 1951 on Sid Nathan's King record label. Not an easy record to find, especially that's a nice clean one. I forget what I paid for that. Posted a bunch of 45s on my Facebook wall. I think about 15 or so of records I'll be featuring tonight. Let's continue here. Let's move into a 1952 now, but back to Baltimore, Maryland we go. Filling a request for the doo-wop couple for the Cardinals. This is their third release for the Atlantic label, and this was a number 3 Billboard R&B hit for the group. It features Ernie Warren on lead. This one from January 52, the Cardinals on the Yellow Atlantic label, and their rendition of the tune, The Wheel of Fortune.
The wheel of fortune goes spinning around. Will the arrow point my way? Will this be the day? Oh, wheel of fortune, don't pass me by. Let me know the magic of a kiss and a sigh, while the wheel is spinning, spinning, spinning. I'll not dream of winning fortune or fame, while the wheel is turning, turning, turning. I'll be ever yearning for love's precious flame. Oh, wheel of fortune, I'm hoping somehow if you'll ever smile on me, please let it be now. penny. I'll not dream of winning fortune or fame while the wheel is turning, turning, turning. I'll be ever yearning for love's precious flame. A wheel of fortune. I'm hoping somehow if you'll ever smile on me, please let it be now.
That's for the doo-wop couple, Ron and Dorothy, January 1952, Hiss and All on the Atlantic label. The 78 plays a lot better than that 45. It's the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the first to record this was someone by the name of Johnny Hartman back in 1951 for the RCA record label. Now, probably the most remembered version of this is by K-Star. It was mentioned in the YouTube chat room there. But other groups to record this, the Four Flames on Specialty recorded that. Dinah Washington also does a rendition of that on Mercury. And I think Laverne Baker also covered it on Atlantic in 1960. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here, and let's stay with the cover songs. Here's one requested by the Colonel. The Harptones B-side to Sunday Kind of Love was a song called I'll Never Tell. It was released in November of 1953, and in August of 1954 it was covered by this gal. She's from Detroit, Michigan. Her name was Bunny Paul. Now, Monty Bruce decided to loan out the Harptones to the Essex record label, and they backed her up on both sides of this release. So this is going out to the Colonel from August 1954. It's Bunny Paul with the Harptones. They're mentioned on the label, on the Essex label out of Philadelphia, and her rendition of the Harptones tune, I'll Never Tell.
I'll never tell, I'll never ever tell you, no, I won't ever tell, I'll never ever tell.
Ask a rose just how it feels when a bee its honey steals. Ask a star fallen from the sky, or a robin that can no longer fly. Ask the sun behind the clouds, or a dream that's torn apart. But don't ask me, for I'll never tell how you broke my heart.
I'll never ever tell.
Ask the moon that shines above, or a fool who's been in love. But don't ask me, for I'll never tell
How you've grown
my heart.
That's going out to the Colonel there, Bunny Paul and the Harptones on the Essex label, Essex Records out of Philadelphia, PA. That one there from August 1954, her version of I'll Never Tell. Now, they are also on the flip side of this record, which is a cover of the Drifters tune Honey Love. And around the same time, the group also was loaned out to X Records as they back up the Woodside Sisters on their release So Soon. I think it was back with Love Me. I think that was it. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening, spinning original vinyl 45s as we continue here. Now, when Hank Ballard and the Midnighters, they were recording all those risque Annie records, included in that group of songs was one they called Sexy Ways, which was a big #2 Billboard R&B hit. So I think this next group tried to capitalize on that song, because this one's on Eddie and Leo Messer's Aladdin label, and they're called Mac Burney and the Four Jacks. This one from January 1955. It's called Tired of Your Sexy Ways.
I'm tired of your sexy ways. I'm tired of your sexy ways. You're gonna keep on shaking it, baby. Gonna drive you to your grave. You wiggle every man in town. You wiggle every man in town. Well, now, pretty baby, going to put you down.
As Mac Burney and the Four Jacks. I don't know if that's the Four Jacks that recorded on the Federal label. Charlene had some questions about that. I wasn't sure, because the Four Jacks were from the West Coast, but I think they were kind of including them with Ben Zeppa and the Four Jacks. I think they were about Encino, California. So there was really some shaky information on that. But that's January 1955. Mac Burney and the Four Jacks on the Aladdin label. Tired of Your Sexy Ways. Hopefully you're not tired of Johnny G's 45s as we continue here. We are in the year 1955, and here's a request for listener Joe Shacatano. He requested this group from Harlem, New York. Initially, they recorded as the Rhythm Masters back in 1948, or a release on the Bandwagon label. Then they changed their name to the Rhythm Kings in 49 with a release on the Ivory label. Then in 1955, they signed with Jack Hook's Royal Roost record label as the Four Pals. Now, Joe requested their first of two for Royal Roost. It features Leonard Thomas on lead. This one from September 1955. The Four Pals on the Royal Roost record label, going out to Joe. It's called If I Can't Have the One I Love.
If I can't have the one I love, sweet then I'd rather have no one at all. If I can't hold your charms so close in my arms, then life has no meaning at all. All I have I gladly give if you'd say we're not through. A kiss don't mean a thing unless it comes from you. If I can't have the one I love, sweetheart, then I'd rather have no one at all. All I have I gladly give if you say we're not through. A little kiss don't mean a thing, baby, unless it comes from you. If I can't have the one I love, sweetheart, then I'd rather have no one at all.
That's September 1955, released there for the Four Pals, going out to Joe Shacatano on the Royal Roost record label. If I Can't Have the One I Love featured Leonard Thomas on lead. Cool tunes here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. We move into 1956 with this group from, as I'm almost losing my voice, but not quite, for this group from Brooklyn, New York. Their debut single came out on the Do Re Mi label back in 1955. It was called Love Is a Vow. That's a 45 I still need. I'll take the 78 too, by the way. But let's give a listen to their second of three on Jack Covey's Tin Pan Alley label. Features the high falsetto voice of Vernon Staley. He's on lead here. This one, February 1956. They're called the Mellow Harps. The Mellow Harps on the Tin Pan Alley label. And the song is called Gone. Hopefully my voice won't.
This weather
I think that's the highest falsetto voice, I think, of all the 50s lead singers. I would say that one there for Vernon Staley, February 1956, the lead for the Mellow Harps there on the Tin Pan Alley record label. Song entitled Gone, and it's kind of funny because the question mark is like backwards on the label. I'll show it to you again. Now, after Tin Pan Alley, they're recorded as the Teen Tones for the Rego label, and Joe Gowder, he would become the new lead for the group. And in 1958, they had a release on the Casino label. Some of you may know, I think Tim knows the song. Gumma Gumma was that one, a novelty tune. And 6 years later, they recorded as the Leopards on the Leopard label and also as the VIPs on the Congress label into the early 1960s. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening, hopefully not losing my voice. And let's go back to the request again for listener Joe Shacatano. He's currently in our YouTube chat room, back to Harlem, New York, for the great Solitaires. The Solitaires here. Joe requested their 10th release on High Weiss's Old Town label, the song written by the lead singer, the great Milton Love. This is going out to Joe from October 1956. The Solitaires on Old Town with Nothing Like a Little Love.
Boom, 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 boom.
Nothing like a little love right from the start. Nothing like a little love to warm your heart. Whoa, 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 I need your love. Nothing like a little kiss makes you revealing. Nothing like a little kiss to warm your feelings. Whoa, 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 I need your love. No arms to hold you up, no lips to tell the story, no love for me at all tonight.
Please don't fade from sight.
Nothing like a little love right from the start. Nothing like a little love to warm your heart. Whoa, 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 I need your love.
Boom, 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 boom. Ooh,
That's by request. Yes, John, you're right. I thought it was backwards looking in my mirror. That's how I saw it. Anyway, those are the Solitaires by request for Joe Shacatano, October 1956. On the Old Town record label, Nothing Like a Little Love. Milton Love, great lead of the Solitaires. I bought that record a long, long time ago. I actually have to upgrade that. I have some nice mint records in my collection, but when I first started, I really couldn't afford a lot of the... If I had a choice when I was much younger to buy a mint copy or a VG or a VG Plus, I never spent the extra for the mint copy, and I learned that was a mistake. That definitely was a mistake, but it was whoever dealt with, because some of the guys would buy the records on the Kreider price, and they would charge you double, so you really had to have a lot of... let me see, if you were an impulsive buyer, you were always spending a lot for records. So a lot of those dealers, they will stay unnamed. They used to take advantage of those impulsive buyers. And I know one very impulsive buyer that I deal with a lot. Anyway, as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, just heard the Solitaires here. How about a twin spin by the Solitaires? And last week I played a request for the doo-wop couple Ron and Dorothy Feba, the Solitaires' 14th of 18 on High Weiss's Old Town record label. It was called Big Mary's House, but the flip side is the side that I prefer, and it's a resung version of their second release on Old Town Records that originally came out in June of '54, and on that release it featured Herman Curtis on lead. They re-recorded it in August of '58, and Milton Love is on lead. So let's go back to August '58. These are the Solitaires on the Old Town label, and their resung version of Please Remember My Heart.
Please remember my heart. Oh, well, darling, you're an angel. You're everything to me. Sorry, my darling, I couldn't see. Please give me one more chance. Let me come back and stay. I'd swim the deepest ocean to be by your side. Well, I'm sorry, darling, I couldn't try. Please give me one more chance. Please remember my heart. So many times I'm doubtful with this new love affair. Let my love be near you again, my darling. Well, I love you so. Well, I do. Well, I do. Really leaving you. Won't you come back and give me one more chance? Please remember my heart. No, please remember my
Wow, that looks like it's sometimes a lot of these records pressed off center, slightly off center. That is a bugaboo of Johnny G's. I don't like that at all, but anyway, it looked like it toward the end. Didn't it look like it? But anyway, what do you like better, that version or the original version of the Solitaires? Either way, Milton Love, Herman Curtis. Great leads of the Solitaires. That one there from August '58, the resung version of Please Remember My Heart on High Weiss's Old Town record label. Let's continue here. And the doo-wop couple asked if I could, over time, play all of my youngsters' 45s on the Empire label except the Holidays song, which it was called Christmas in Jail. So I have to leave that one for the holidays when we get to the holidays, if we get to the holidays. But on the last couple of shows, I played both sides of their second release. It was Rock and Roll Cowboy, and last week I featured Shattered Dreams. But this is their fourth. This is their fourth on Empire, co-written by George Mottola. It features Charles Everidge on lead, going out to the doo-wop couple. August 1956, The Youngsters on Empire. It's called Counterfeit Heart.
You said that your love belonged to me. You said you'd be true, but now I see that all of your words, right from the start, came from your lying, good for nothing, counterfeit heart. The news traveled fast all over town, but I didn't know you slipped around. Your luck couldn't last, and I got smart and caught your lying good for nothing counterfeit heart. There were too many vows you didn't keep, too many nights that I couldn't sleep, too many tears you made me weep. But you know as you sow you shall weep. Keep telling them lies the way you do, and one of these days I promise you your make-believe world will fall apart and break your lying good for nothing counterfeit heart. There were too many vows you didn't keep, too many nights that I couldn't sleep, too many tears you made me weep. But you know as you sow you shall reap. Keep telling them lies the way you do, and one of these days I promise you your make-believe world will fall apart and break your lying good for nothing counterfeit heart.
Those are the youngsters with Charles Everidge on lead there, August 1956 on the Empire label. Going out to Ron and Dorothy, Counterfeit Heart is the name of that. When you collectors out there got to be well aware of counterfeit 45s, and I believe me, I've seen enough of them. I'm actually pretty good picking out bootlegs. I am. I kind of studied a lot about those bootlegs, and I know originals from bootlegs. Very hard to stump your host, Johnny G. Not that I'm boasting, but I've just seen a lot. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. Here is a rare girl groups 45 on the Rego label by request, going out to George Tompkins, and I would guess that they decided to on this name for the group because of a 1956 hit by Eddie Fisher called Dungaree Doll. Now, Freddie Gonzalez and his disco file, they claim that this group also recorded as the Dolls on the Teenage label, the Kangaroo label, and the OK labels. I don't know. Maybe John Clemente knows if they're all the same group, but I could not verify. So I'm really not sure, but I know that this record was released in 1959, also on the Karen label as the Dungaree Darlings, and it was a shorter version, but I'm playing the original. It's on the Rego record label. It's going out to George from July 56. The Dungaree Dolls on the Rego label. It's called Boy of My Dreams.
That I adore. You are the one boy that I that I love more and more. You are the boy of my
July 1956 release there. They're called the Dungaree Dolls, going out to George on the Rego label. Boy of My Dreams is the name of that tune. Very rare 45 to get on the Rego label. You can find it on the Karen label. I think it's a shorter version if I'm not mistaken. What I try to do is when I try to research these records, I looked at the writer credit on this, not in all instances, but the writer on this side is Beverly Watson. So I try to research that name. Maybe she is the lead, not always, but sometimes you do find that out when you do a little bit of the research there. But anyway, that is a cool tune as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, in last week's show, I played a request for The Colonel by Crip Johnson and Chuck Jackson. I played my Dot label copy of that, although it also came out on the Phoebe and the Petite label, I think later on in 59 on Petite. But the song was called Willette, and it really was the Del Vikings. But the Phoebe Dot labels lost a court battle with the Mercury label. They sued them for the name of the Del Vikings, and they wanted, and turned out that Mercury won that, and so that Mercury was able to put out the Del Vikings records as the Del Vikings, and Dot had to change it. So Willette was as Crip Johnson and Chuck Jackson, and it featured Chuck Jackson on lead. We're going to give a listen to the flip side, which features Crip Johnson on lead, and he's doing a tune first done by B.B. King in 1953 on the RPM record label. But let's give a listen to this rendition from November 57, Crip Johnson and the Del Vikings on the Dot label, their rendition of the tune Woke Up This Morning.
I woke up this morning, my baby was gone. I woke up this morning, my baby was gone. I'm living all alone, I'm in misery. I ain't got nobody stay here with me. Nobody, yeah. I'm living all alone, I'm in misery. Baby, baby, I'm all alone. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm living all alone, I'm in misery. Oh yeah. Baby, I love you and I need you and I want you by my side. Yes, I do. Come on, 'cause I'm living all alone. I'm in misery. Baby, baby, I'm all alone. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm living all alone. I'm in misery. Blow one more time, blow. Staying all alone, keeping me in a misery. Baby, baby, I'm all alone. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm living all alone. I'm in misery.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Del Vikings, actually really Crip Johnson and the Del Vikings, November 1957 on the Dot label. Also have that on the on the Phoebe label as I lose my mind. But anyway, the song is called Woke Up This Morning as we continue here. And we are in the year 1957. And last week, I opened up the Vinyl Treasure Show with Donnie Elbert and his second of 7 on Sid Nathan's deluxe label. With the up-tempo side, it was called Believe It or Not. And there was a vocal group backing him up. I couldn't find out who the group was. It could have been it could be a studio group, probably hanging around at the time of the recording. But they're also backing him up on the ballad flip side. Let's give it a whirl here before it goes back down in the no humidity basement from July 1957. This is Donnie Elbert and Group on Deluxe. It's called Tell Me So. That's the second of 7 for Donnie Elbert and a Group. That's a cool tune. Nice ballad there. Donnie Edwards with Tell Me So from July 1957 on Sid Nathan's deluxe label. Let's stay in 57. It's been a while since I played this next 45. It's a pretty rare one, too, on Steve Samuel's High Tone record label out of Harlem, New York. Now, this group is known as The Lyrics and not affiliated with any other lyrics group. And I say this was their only release. Now, both sides of this 45 are great, in my opinion. Let's give a listen to the A-side this week. It's with Ray's Combo. They're providing the instrumentation. This one from 1957, The Lyrics on the High Tone label. It's called I'm in Love.
Well, she's so sweet. Oh, yeah, she's so sweet.
Rare 45s here for a Saturday evening. That's on the High Tone record label. Those are the lyrics. The lyrics from 1957, a song entitled I'm in Love. They also backed up a High Tone recording artist, Georgia Harris. And she does a nice holiday tune called Let's Exchange Hearts for Christmas. Very nice tune she does. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, let's continue with some more flip sides from last week. Played the Edwards Sisters on K. Williams Kaiser record label. It was out of Philadelphia, PA. Featured the A-side. It was called Don't Make Me Cry Again. And I say the B-side is also excellent. It's with Howard Biggs and his orchestra. We go back to March of 1957. The Edwards Sisters. Edwards Sisters on the Kaiser label. This is the Kaiser label. This is the B-side. It's called Living One Day at a Time.
The clock on the mantel needs winding. It hasn't the reason or rhyme until you come back, my darling. I'm living one day at a time. My life has been wrapped all around you. My heart keeps repeating, you're mine, until you come back, my darling. I'm living one day at a time. When friends come to call, there's nothing to say. They all try to figure out the score. My heart seems to stop when they mention your name. I try to explain, but I've done that before. I'm oh so afraid of the future. The past hasn't been very kind until you come back, my darling. I'm living one day at a until you come back, my darling. I'm living one day at a time.
They're out of Philadelphia, PA. The Edwards Sisters there, March 1957. On the Kaiser label, Living One Day at a Time. They have another one on the Junior label I have. I think it's earlier than that, though. But I can't find information about this group for some reason. You would think their last names would be Edwards. Not necessarily, but I would bet that they are. But anyway, Johnny G babbling on here for a Saturday evening as we continue here for the next two songs. Our flip sides from last week. And I played a request for the doo-wop couple, Ron and Dorothy, last week by Otis Williams and the Charms. The song was called Don't Deny Me. I incorrectly mentioned that Lonnie Carter was the lead on that side. That info was not correct. Really, that was Otis Williams on lead. So there was like a misunderstanding in the information on Marv's website that Charlene got, because he's not. That was Otis Williams. I was pretty sure about that, and I kind of double-checked, but he is definitely not on the flip side. Lonnie Carter is on lead on the flip side, and it's a cover song that was first done by the Love Notes on the Holiday record label, but this is a nice rendition here by Otis Williams and the Charms, June 1957 on Deluxe, their rendition of the tune United.
Together we stand, divided we fall. Together in love, or no love at all.
We are united. Together we'll be. Forever we'll stay. Till eternity. This love will stay. Yes, in every way. From now and days to come.
And days to come.
We are united, you and me. I'll keep you happy. Just wait and see. Every star in the sky is a token, oh yeah, of true love.
Of true love.
For the moment seemed like years, but I'm glad, oh yeah, just to see. Whoa, 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 the moment, you know it. You became united with me. We are united. This love is real. This is the way all lovers should feel. No more will I roam if I found a new home, as our two hearts now beat as one.
Together we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah.
Together in love, or no love at all.
Yeah.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure. There was a girl on that there too, I guess, to as Lucy Rivera, also on the Love Notes version there. But it's a cover tune. The Otis Williams and the Charms there, June 1957 on Sid Nathan's Deluxe record label, their rendition of the Love Notes tune. That's Lonnie Carter on lead there, not Otis Williams. As we continue here for a Saturday evening. Now, on last week's show, I played a request for Nat Papagallo. He requested the Chuckalucks on the Bow label. They're from Richmond, Virginia. Featured the ballad side. It was Heaven Knows, parentheses, I Love You. And listener Darrell Letts, currently in our YouTube chat room, he asked if I could play the flip side, which was co-written by the lead singer, and his name is Hank Chico Brown. So this is going out to Darrell here, October 1958 on the Bow label. These are the Chuckalucks with a song called Chuckaluck.
There goes my baby, walking down the street. There goes my baby, and she looks so sweet. Well, my baby, she does love me. She used to love me, I loved her too. She used to love me, and I loved her too. Well, my baby got eyes for someone new. And she goes, yeah, she goes, oh, look at my baby trying to switch. Yeah, yeah. There goes my baby, walking down the street. There goes my baby, and she looks so sweet. Well, my baby, she does love me. She used to love me, I loved her too. She used to love me, and I loved her too. Well, my baby got eyes for someone new. And she goes, yeah, she goes, oh, come on, baby, touch that switch. Yeah, yeah.
That's a cold ending, too, there. That's going out to Daryl Letts there. The Chuckalucks, October 1958. It's on the Bow record label. And their tune called Chuckaluck, as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's stay in 1958 with a request for Joe Shacatano. He requested a group from South Jersey. It's on a label called Airport Records, which... actually, they put this 45 out two different ways, and I'm not sure which one is first, but I think the one that I have is the first way. First came out as Sammy and the Teasers, came out like on a beige color label. Then there's a dark blue label, and the group is called the Twilighters, which I haven't seen before. The Kreider book, I think, lists the Twilighters, at least in the old version that I saw. So, but anyway, let's give this one a spin. It features Sammy Mangano on lead. This is going out to Joe it's from 1958. Sammy and the Teasers on the Airport label. It's called Penny in a Wishing Well.
Put a penny in the wishing well. It will make your dreams come true. Put a penny in the wishing well. You'll find true love for you. It will fill your heart with happiness. Bring all of you once possessed. Put a penny in the wishing well. You'll find true love for you. And if your heart's been broken by some sad love affair, just keep on wishing, because your love will come to you somewhere. Put a penny in the wishing well till it's out of sight. Put a penny in the wishing well. Your love will turn out right.
Whoops, that's going out to Joe Shacatano there. That's Sammy and the... I lost my place. Sammy and the Teasers, 1958 on the Airport record label. Penny in a Wishing Well, also released as the Twilights. Yeah, the Twilighters on the Airport label. I have other releases on this label, believe it or not. I bought them from, I think, Mike Demersion. He didn't have a lot of money on them, but of course I was running labels. And when you run labels, you're going to buy records to all these, these cool-looking labels. But anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue here. We are in the year 1958. I have no info on this next group, but it's a request for the doo-wop couple, Ron and Dorothy Feba. Both sides of this record are excellent in my opinion, and I think this song was really inspired by a recording by Solomon Burke from 1956 called A Picture of You. It's not the same song, but I think it was inspired for them to do this song. And it's with Stanley Applebaum and his orchestra, and they're called the Elgins. This is going out to Ron and Dorothy, the Elgins from June 58 on MGM. It's called A Picture of You.
I'm holding in my hand a picture of you, but I just can't understand why you said we are through. But as I gaze at your face, my heart beats tenderly. I want you to love me as I love you. Then I try to understand why you said we are through. But as I gaze at your face, my heart beats tenderly. Well, you told me how you loved me, and our love will always be. Then you went and left me for somebody new. Oh, you know that I want you to love me as I love you. Then I try to understand why you said we are through. But as I gaze at your face, my heart beats tenderly.
Well, baby, now my
heart beats so tenderly.
Sounds of 1958 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. The Elgins there, the Elgins, June 1958, going out to the doo-wop couple, A Picture of You. That one there on the MGM label. Now, the Dan Lears would cover this for the Mercury label in December of 1958. This copy that I played was from a radio station library, WPEP, in Taunton, Massachusetts. Got a lot of cool records out of that library. I was able to get some when I used to go to that Waterbury, Connecticut show. I went up there. I picked up lots of records from that radio station. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. We are in the year 1958. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here as we go out to Oakland, California, to Don Barksdale's Rhythm label for this R&B singer covering a Johnny Ace classic from September 1954, as many have covered this song through the years. But this singer goes by the name of Bob Jeffries, and he's being backed up by the Mondellos. The Mondellos, they were from Pittsburgh, California, and they recorded, of course, behind Alice Jean, also on the Rhythm label. This one from early 1958, Bob Jeffries with the uncredited Mondellos on the Rhythm label, and their rendition of the tune, Never Let Me Go.
Just let me love. Forget about tomorrow. Remember, darling, I love you. Never let me go. irresistible, and I dream of sending you to me from up above. Give me life. Your lips, your love. Remember, darling, I love you and never let me go. Oh, and never let me go.
Cover tunes here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, early 1958 release. Bob Jeffries being backed up, uncredited Mondellos on that. On the rhythm label, Never Let Me Go is the name of that one. Also, I have it on the silver label, which is, I think, the second they call it, but also came out on the black rhythm label. Now, Bob Jeffries would have one more release on the sister label Jody Records, backed up by the Marcells, who were really the Mondellos. I have that 45 too. I'll have to feature it here. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, got a request for George Tompkins as we head out to Los Angeles, California. He requested the debut single for this group called The Intervals. Came out on the Irma label out of Oakland, California. Now, this song written by the band leader, his name is Chuck Morris. He also backed them up on their two other releases on the Ad label. This is the Intervals that recorded on the Ad label. You may know the tune called Side Street. I like that record. It was first on Ad. It was then picked up by the Apt label. But this is a request going out to George from June 1958. The Intervals on Irma. It's called Love Me Sweet.
Love me sweet like the bees love honey. Love me sweet like the blossom loves money. Love me sweet. Love me sweet like the birds love cherries. Love me sweet like a bear loves berries. Love me sweet. Oh, how I flip from all of your charms. My loving heart melts like chocolate when it's warm. Love me sweet, and you'll be my baby. Love me sweet, and I don't need a baby. Love me sweet. Chocolate when it's warm. Love me sweet, and you'll be my baby. Love me sweet, and I don't need a baby. Love me sweet. Come on, and love me sweet. Hey, love me sweet.
As by request for George Tompkins, those are the Intervals. The Intervals, they're from California. June 1958 on the Irma label, Love Me Sweet. And they're not the same group that recorded for Class. They're a different group. If you check that book, the Rhythm and Blues book, that Intervals group has ties to St. Louis. The St. Louis and oh gosh, who were the Billy Davis and Marilyn McCoo? There is a connection there, and also that Intervals group also associated with the Uptones. You can check it out. This is a different Intervals group. This is the Intervals group that recorded Side Street. They're different. They're not the same. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and actually this group also has a release on the West Coast label, which is also affiliated with this Irma label. As we continue here for a Saturday evening, up next, a group from Mobile, Alabama that was mainly a family of brothers. They started back in 1944 on a number of labels through the years. The heart of the group were two twins. They were, well, a pair of twins, I should say, Claude and Clifford Trenier. And most of their songs were kind of those up-tempo rock and roll things through the years. They recorded on many different labels, OK, Epic. I have some other ones that they do on other, Brunswick, I think I have them on. But this is one on the Dot label that was written by Ed Townsend. And Ed Townsend, of course, not only had that big hit For Your Love, he was also a talented writer and later on a producer of lots of records in the early 1960s and the late 1950s. Let's give a listen to this one here by the Treniers, December 58 on Dot. The song is called Never, Never.
When will I stop loving you? Never. When will I stop loving you? Never. When will I stop loving you the way that I do? Never, never. Tell me, when will I stop wanting you? Never, never. When will I stop wanting you? Never. Stop wanting you the way that I do. When mountains become valleys, mountains so high, stars way up yonder, when there's no moon in the sky. Oh, tell me, when will I stop needing you? Never, never. When will I stop wanting you? I stop loving you the way that I do.
That's out of the style of the Treniers. That's more of a serious sound there for them. December 1958 on the Dot record label. Never Never is the name of that tune, written by Ed Townsend. Sort of sounds like For Your Love a little bit. It does. To me, it does. Now, Johnny Taylor does a nice version of that song on the SAR label from 62. Pretty cool tune for Johnny Taylor. Got to check that one out. As we continue here for a Saturday evening, hope you're digging on the tunes here. Johnny G holding up here. And a few weeks ago, I played the B-side of this next 45. This group out of Bridgeport, Connecticut on Herman Pollock's Arrow label. And the B-side was called Please Dear, as done by Dick Grass and the Hoppers. Now, Dick Grass, he was the drummer for the group, and I think we hear him in the beginning of this record. There's some type of resuscitation speaking in the beginning of this, and the kitty lead, his name is Bob Lindsay, and this is actually sort of a novelty tune, so we're going to send this one out to Brian Korn if he's listening. This one from October 1958, Dick Grass and the Hoppers on the Arrow label. It's called Mr. John Law.
Well, I was cruising down the highway, only doing 95, just trying to hold my car steady so I could stay alive. Now I looked in my rear view mirror, and here's what I saw. Closing the gap between us was a Mr. John Law. He said, "Now pull over to the side, sonny. Now what seems to be wrong? Now, officer, come here quick.
Listen to the song.
That's Dick Grass and the Hoppers there, October 1958. Yes, it did sound a little bit like Daryl mentioned Ride and Cell Block number 9 in the beginning, but it's Mr. John Law, that one there on the Arrow record label. Bob Lindsay, he's the lead on that kitty lead. Johnny G here for Saturday evening as we continue here. We move into 1959 with a song I really like. It's out of upstate New York. Now, prior to this release, this singer was the lead singer of the Rhythm Cadets on the Vesta label, if you know that song, Dearest Doris. I should pull that out. I haven't played it in a while here on the show, but this one's on the Stentor label. Was written by the lead singer. His name is George Singleton, but better known as Bebo Singleton. It's with Jeff and the Notes here from July of 59. I have it on the black stock copy. There's the white promos. Maybe they play a little bit better. They're more clear sounding, possibly. But anyways, give it a spin here. Bebo Singleton on Stentor. It's called The Shrine of the Echoes.
Mother of love, Ave Maria, I look on you, Ave Maria, as my guiding light, with the call of the echo. Oh, whoa. I hear their voices singing. I've said a prayer while bells are ringing. For you are my love, you and the shrine of the echo. Look on you, Ave Maria, as my guiding light, with the call of the echo.
July 1959 release there for Bebo Singleton. Bebo Singleton on the Stentor label. His tune called The Shrine of the Echoes. As we continue, here we are in the year 1959, and on my April 18th, 2020 Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for Matey Campboy. She requested the Cameos. The song was called I Remember When, a group out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the Matador record label. And it was a listener, I think it was Daryl Letts, that requested the flip. So I'm sorry, Daryl, if I'm a little bit late, but we're going to feature it for you right now. It features Donald Carter on lead. It's going out to Daryl from December 59, the Cameos on the Matador label. It's called We'll Still Be Together.
Long after.
Man, that's not good. It's not good. Let me get it right.
Long after others have said their goodbye to romances that weren't really true, we'll still be together. That's one thing I promise you. Whoa. Long after empires and kings have fallen, long after the sun has gone cold, we'll still be together, each other to and home. Let me be rich, let me be poor, let skies be blue or gray. Oh, no matter which fate holds in store, I'll love you as today
is life on earth has ended, and this universe ceases to be. We'll still be together throughout eternity.
I was glad to get that one on for Daryl Letts, the cameos there with, is that the B side of the record? I don't know, but it's their first of two on the Matador label, December 1959, called We'll Still Be Together. And the true first press for you collectors out there is on the orange label. I have that behind me in the box. It was second pressed on maroon. Then it comes out on a West Coast blue label. I think that's what I saw in the Crider book, which I don't have. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. Up next, a request for the Colonel. For this singer is a lineal descendant of Francis Scott Key, believe it or not, who composed the Star-Spangled Banner. Now, this singer, originally from Jordan Plantation, Louisiana, but relocated to Oakland, California, where he signed a contract with Warner Brothers Records back in 1958. The result were 3 releases, and the Colonel requested his third, which is a cover of a Moonglows tune. This one from June 59, going out to the Colonel. His name is Troyce Key. Troyce Key on Warner Brothers, and his rendition of the Moonglows tune, Most of All.
Do I do I do? Do I do?
Most of all, I want your warm embrace. No one can take your place. I need you most of all. Most of all.
That's a great cover tune there by, whoops, as I drop my pen, by Troyce Key, going out to the Colonel, June 1959, his third release on the Warner Brothers label, Most of All. His other songs are not that bad either. I have another 2 by Troyce Key in my collection. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, head back out to California for this group from Richmond, California, north of Berkeley, California, where Ray Dobard's label Music City was located, as this group had 2 releases on the Music City label. Let's give a listen to their second, the song written by group member Elvin Bridges, who might be the lead on this, I'm not sure, but other members included Richard Scott, Harold Andrews, and Jim E. Moore. This one from October 1959, they're called The Clicks, K-L-I-C-K-S. IXS. The Clicks on the Music City label, and their tune is called Elaine.
Elaine, gates were meant to open, stars were meant to shine. You are my angel, meant to be mine. My girl, her name is Elaine. Will she remember the things we used to do? Elaine, I loved you so. Yeah. Oh, Elaine, I want you to realize the way that I feel, dear, can never be equalized. Elaine, I loved you so. Elaine, my pretty girl, oh, I love you so. I'll never, no, never, no, never let you go. Elaine, I want you to have and to hold. I'll never, no, never, no, never let you go. Oh, Elaine, I want you to realize, look into my eyes, dear. See, I wasn't telling you lies. Elaine, I loved you so. Elaine.
That's Stone Mint copy, I have to say. That's from Seymour Simon's collection. He actually went over to Music City and bought records from Ray Dobard's store. He went into the store. He told me the story many, many years ago. I haven't spoken to him in Seymour in a long time. But those are the Clicks. October 1959 on the Music City label, a song entitled Elaine. I was typing in the chat room that the interesting thing is that the pressing plant messed up on this with their labels, or they ran out of the labels or something, because this side that I played, Elaine, it's the flat black label with the silver print. The flip side are those later labels, those shiny black labels with the multicolor logo, the funny multicolor Music City logo. I'll show you guys in a second as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, in the last week's show, I played a request for the doo-wop couple by a group called the V8s. Came out on the Most label out of New York City. The song was called Pretty Girl. Now, let's give a listen to the flip side before we file this one back in the No Humidity basement. It's from June of '59 on the Most label, the V8s with... I messed this with Please... didn't write it down. With Please Come Back.
You
come back to me. Please hold my time. I do, and your kisses too. I love you, I need to see that you live for me. I'm sad and I'm blue when you left me. My love, I need you. Oh, I need you so close by my side. Oh, please come back to me.
June 1959, release there for a group called the V8s. The V8s, V-8 apostrophe S on the Most label out of New York City, song entitled Please Come Back. And the group always thought to be the same V8s from Asbury Park, New Jersey, but the bass for the group, Roman Hosendover, says they are not. That is not the same group that recorded for the Vibro label. But anyway, that record, I was typing into the YouTube chat room, sounds very familiar. We got to call the lawyers on this one because this song sounds a lot like this song. Yes, there you go. That was the original. Actually, those two songs sounded very almost exact, but excuse me. But the song we just that is those two were, you got to call a lawyer on that one. That's written by Jimmy Jones, and those are the Pretenders. First came out on the Central label in October 1958. It's an ultra rare 45 on Ultra. I only know one other collector that really has that record. I've never seen a copy of it, but then in December of 58, it was released on the Apt label. That's how I have it. I have it on a promo. And then it came out again on ABC Paramount in March of 1960, probably because Jimmy Jones was having those hits on the Cub label, like Handyman and Good Time, and so maybe ABC Paramount wanted to capitalize on that. But we just heard the Pretenders from December 1958 featuring Jimmy Jones on lead with Blue and Lonely. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We are almost in Vinyl Treasure overtime, and we head back out to Los Angeles, California for a group called The Shields. Like, the Shields. They had a monster hit in 1958 with You Cheated. Now, my aunt purchased the 45 back in 58. She owned it on the Dot label. But by early 59, lead singer Frankie Irvin, he left the group to go solo, and he was replaced by Johnny White. Now, the group also included James Monroe Warren, he was the bass, Charles Wright, the baritone, Charles Jackson, the tenor, and Jesse Belvin, tenor. And they had one more release as the Shields, and the first presses of this record, though, are supposedly on Dot, but I'm playing my copy on the Tender label, which was probably released locally in California. Let's go back to April 1959 for the Shields on the Tender label with Johnny White on lead. It's called Play the Game Fair.
I've got a right to know if you love me anymore. All that I have, play the game fair. Don't put yourself in a strain when you call my name. All that I have, play the game fair. I used to go around making believe that you love no one but me. But time has brought a change, my dear, you're not the same. Am I loving you in vain? If you should change your mind, I'll be doing just fine. All that I have, play the game, play the game fair. Play the game fair.
Jesse Belvin there you go. The Shields there, though. Johnny White on lead. April 1959, Play the Game Fair, featured on the Tender label. First pressed on Dot Records. by the way, but Dot was distributing those Tender 45s at the time. Johnny G here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. We move into 1960 now with a request for the doo-wop couple Ron and Dorothy. It's on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy label, but can't tell you much about the singer, but he co-wrote the song. His name is Baby Boy Jennings, and there are girls backing him up on this. I was able to find the session info, though. The guys behind the music in the back there. Big Al Sears, he was on sax. Abby Baker, he was on bass. Shep Shepard was on drums. Wally Richardson on guitar. And Charles Macy, he was on piano. So going out to Ron and Dorothy from July 1960. Baby Boy Jennings and the Satellites on Savoy. It's called Goin' Home.
Well, you know I'm going home to my baby who's all alone. You know I'm going home to my baby who's all alone. A long time ago, and I miss my baby so. You know I lived a long time ago, and I miss my baby so. She'll be waiting patiently with the love that's just for me. She was smiling, holding near, make our troubles disappear. I'm gonna shout, woo! I'm gonna wiggle, woo! Yes, I'm gonna holler, woo! I'm gonna jump, woo! Shout, woo! I'm gonna wiggle, woo! Yeah, I'm gonna holler, woo! I'm gonna wiggle, shout, or jump, or holler, everything I can get. Hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. Going home, going home, see my
As by request for the doo-wop couple there, Ron and Dorothy. Let's send that one out to Mr. Dave the Rave, our Sunday night disc jockey here on Topshelfoldies 9 to midnight. Tune in to Dave tomorrow evening. That's Baby Boy Jennings and the Satellites, July 1960 on the Savoy label. Whoops, losing my voice here. Going Home is the name of that one. Johnny G not going home yet. We're going to continue here. I had this B-side sitting in the box for a long, long time. Geez, since November 19th of 2019. That's when I played the A-side of this on Frank Pappalardo's Casa Grande label. Was called Now It's Your Turn. So I'm finally getting to the B-side here 8 months later now. This means that Daryl can ask me to play the flip side next week, I guess, because it's been that long. But this group is from Brockton, Massachusetts. They're called the Blends. Let's give a listen to the B-side here, and it's the first of two they did on Casa Grande. It features Big John Croft on lead. This one from August 1960, the Blends on Casa Grande. It's called Someone to Care.
Someone to care
He gave me one heart to share. He gave me one girl for whom to care. All I wanna know, do you love me? For I love you so. Love you so. He gave me one dream to dream. He gave me one girl for whom to care. All I wanna know, do you love me? For I love you so. Down on bended knees, dear Lord, please hear my prayer. Send me someone who really cares. Dear Lord, please hear my cry. Please send me someone to love. He gave me one heart to share. He gave me one girl for whom to care. All I wanna know, do you love me? For I love you so. Love you so.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the blends. That's actually, the A-side is a great up-tempo. Now it's your turn. I'm going to have to play that next week. But the blends there, August 1960 on Casa Grande. Someone to Care, Big John Croft on lead for that one. Paid $3 from Mike Michelle. I think he was out of Boston. Used to send out set sale lists in the, probably in the early 1980s. But he passed away, I think, way back when. I think he had a heart attack. He was fairly young. But I met him at a Connecticut show. I went to I forget where in Connecticut. It was when they were doing record shows at night. It was interesting, like a Friday night. I don't know. I haven't been to a record show in years now. Anyway, let's continue here. And on last week's show, I played a request for Nat Papagallo by Ben Little and the Four Kings on the Revival label, a subsidiary of CJ Records, by the way, and the song was called Forever Mine, an excellent ballad, and the group was called the Four Kings. Previously, they had a release on the CJ label, which was owned by Joe Evans and Clarence Edward Johnson, who wrote the cool up-tempo flip side. Let's go to June of 61 for Ben Little and the Four Kings on the Revival label. It's called Imprison Me, Baby.
Imprison me, baby. Wrap it up in love. Imprison me, baby. Tell me I'm the one you love. Because I need you so. Help, 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 help. Chain me down with the romance. Never, never, never leave. Just you and me, baby. Go away, love you. Because I need
June 61 release there for Ben Little and the Four Kings. That's the flip of Forever Mine, a song entitled Imprison Me Baby. That one there on the Revival label as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. I'm going to send this next tune out to George Tompkins. This group from Newark, New Jersey had a monster hit back in 1959, a cover of the song So Fine. Now, George requested their seventh release on High Weiss's Old Town record label. Features Tom Bullock on lead. This one from October 61. These are the Fiestas on Old Town Records, going out to George. It's called The Hobo's Prayer.
Never before have I said a prayer, but in my heart I felt it there. Oh Lord above, can I find love? I pray unto thee. Oh Lord, I'm so lonely, but in my heart I know you're there. Take my hand, go on and guide me, lift me up, then help me stand. Heavenly Father, I want to get married, so take me an angel, then settle down. But yet and still I wonder if this could ever be for me. I'm just a hobo disguised as a clown. As a clown. Where's that clown? Heavenly Father. With that silver lining. Heavenly Father. Past that river. Heavenly Father. Is it so far? No. Then take my hand, go on and guide me. Heavenly Father, I pray to thee. He prayed to thee. He prayed to thee.
As by request for George Tompkins, a cool tune there by the Fiestas. They're out of Newark, New Jersey. Tommy Bullock on lead, October 1961. The Hobo's Prayer came out on High Weiss's Old Town record label. Now, Tommy, he would record as Tommy Andre on the Old Town label. I have that 45. Does another one also on the Broadway label. Johnny G's here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We continue here. Now, on last week's Vinyl Treasure show, I played a request for Nat Papagallo. He requested the Veltones, and I featured the intended B-side of their 45. It was called I Need You So. That record first came out on the Lost Night label. That is the true first press for this 45, but I featured it on the second press, the Zara label. And Darrell Letts asked if I could flip the 45 over, give a listen to the A-side. Now, the song was written by Al Brown, and his band is backing him up. And I was talking to George Tompkins this week. We were talking about this record, and he mentioned to me that the gal on this, the lead singer, her name is, he thinks, or understands or knows or found out that the girl on this is Pat Vandross, who was the older sister to Luther Vandross. And of course, Pat was also the lone female member of the early Crests that recorded on the Joyce label. So there is like a Al Brown connection here. But so this, we're going to send this one out to Daryl. This one from 1961. I'm featuring it on the Zara label. These are the Veltones with Now.
Now, dippity walk. Now.
As going out to Daryl there, those are the Veltones. The Veltones on the Zara label. Originally came out on the Lost Night label. That is the first press, which plays better than the Zara Records the Zara release for some reason. 1961, song entitled Now. Johnny G still featuring original vinyl 45s now as we head back out to California, actually to 1359 Oak Street in San Francisco, California for the Continental label. Now, the lead singer of this group, her name is Ramona King. You might know her releases on the Eden label. She does one called Oriental Garden, but prior to that, she sang lead for a group called the Fairlanes, and this is a song she wrote. We go back to August 1959, on the Continental label for the Fairlanes, and her tune called Writing This Letter.
Oh, darling.
little bit out of sequence there. August 59 release there for Ramona King and the Fairlanes. It's on the Continental record label. A cool tune there she does. Writing This Letter is the name of that tune as we continue here on Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Here's another flip side from last week. Many of you enjoyed the Pentagons I featured. They're out of San Bernardino, California. I played the A-side to their first of two. Came out on the Jamie label. It was called I Wonder If Your Love Will Ever Belong to Me. And I like the B-side of this 45 too. It features Joe Jones on lead. Let's go back to August 61. The Pentagons on Jamie and their tune called She's Mine.
I've searched so long, and now I have found her. Everything I own is just wrapped around her. She loves me, and only me I know. Many, many tears and much pretending. Looks like there will be a very happy ending. She loves me, and only me I know. Just two happy people, alone and in love with each other. Two happy people. Oh, please, love, don't let it die. Just let me take your hand, and I'll be gentle. Thoughts of you will always be so sentimental. She loves me, and only me I know. She loves me, and only me I know.
B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Both sides of that 45 are great, I have to say. They like that one there in the chat room. Also, the Pentagons there. August 1961, that's the B-side called She's Mine. Came out on the Jamie record label, featured Joe Jones on lead. Unfortunately, he died last year. We lost him. It's been a year now. June 6th, 2019. He was only 77, but still, that's young, I say, nowadays. But he left us with some great music as we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. And band leader Al Brown contributed to lots of music in the mid-1950s and early 1960s. And we just heard a couple records ago, the Veltones 45. Here's another one that he was involved in. Came out on a label called East Coast Records. The group is called The Verdicts, and they're supposedly an evolution of a group called the Gay Tunes that recorded for the Timely and the Joyce labels. And he also co-wrote the tune. Again, his band is backing up this group, The Verdicts. This one from July 1961 on East Coast Records. It's called My Life's Desire.
If I could live my life just for you alone, my love, that is all that I dream of. That is my desire. beware. But now you're gone and I'm all alone, and I left misery instead. If I could live my life just for you alone, my love, that is all that I dream of. That is mine,
Those are the Verdicts. The Verdicts there, July 1961. It's on the East Coast record label, a song entitled My Life's Desire. Remember, I bought that from Seymour Simon. He played that a lot. Seymour, you played that 45 too much. Has a little bit of surface noise there, but I'm glad I have it. Anyway, Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. We move into 1962 now with a group called The Uniques. Lots of groups known as The Uniques, but this one is out of New York. It's on the TK label and located at 3334th Street in Brooklyn, New York. And can you name me another song that mentions the Foreign Legion in the song, or they sing about it? I don't know any other song except this one from 1962, The Uniques on TK. It's called A Million Miles Away. They're called The Uniques. The Uniques on the TK record label, 1962. I don't know why these presses, I have multiple copies of this record, and they all play with a surface noise. It's that terrible vinyl that they use to press that record. There are a number of like early 1960s that play like that. The Uniques, A Million Miles Away. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We are in 1962. Now, Ron and Dorothy Feba, they asked me for a bunch of Wanderers tunes, Ray Pollard and the Wanderers, to play. So I picked one here. This one originally came out on the Cub label. MGM released it nationally for this group. It was actually their 10th release on Cub, but then nationally for MGM, it made it up to number 88 on Billboard, number 77 on Cashbox, was a big number 13 on WWBZ in, is it Vineland or Vineland, New Jersey? Anyway, we'll send it out to the doo-wop couple, May 1962. This song goes back to 1936. Let's give a listen to the Wanderers rendition of this with Ray Pollard on lead, featuring it on Cub. The Wanderers with their rendition of the tune, There is No Greater Love.
There is no greater love than what I feel for you. No greater love, no greater love, no heart so true, no heart so true. There is no greater thrill than what you bring to me. No sweeter song than what you sing to me. No, no, you're the sweetest thing I have ever known. And to think that you are mine alone. There is no greater love in all the world. It's true, so true. No greater love than what I feel for you. There is no greater
As by request for the doo-wop couple there, the Wanderers. Also send that one out to Joe Shacatano. I know he likes the voice of Ray Pollard there. May 1962, the Wanderers. That was a charted record for them, although not a national hit. There's No Greater Love. I featured it on the Cub label. Was then nationally distributed by MGM. That was the parent label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. I'm surprised I'm holding up here with my losing my voice with this cough. Am I going to take another Mucinex after the show? But let's continue here as we head out to Phoenix, Arizona for this next group. You go to, if those of you on Facebook, you can check out my Facebook post. I posted a bunch of pictures of these records that I featured today, and Stephen Kahn, listener Stephen Kahn, he has an exclusive article about this next group, and he posted the link on my Facebook wall, so you can check it out under the label there. But this group is, these guys were a group of servicemen from Phoenix, Arizona, and they signed with Floyd Ramsey's Ramco label. And they're called the Versatiles. The Versatiles. Now, the lead singer on this side is Wilfred Johnson, and we're going to give it a spin here from December of 1962. The Versatiles on Ramco. This is the up-tempo side. It's called Blue Feelin'.
I get a blue feeling each night about this time. When the moonlight starts creeping through my window blind, I get a blue feeling and then I start to cry. I want to forget you, but it's useless to try. I'm lost in a dream of make-believe world of my own, and hopelessness is about this time when the moonlight starts creeping through my window blind. I get a blue feeling and then I start to cry. I want to forget you, but it's you left to try.
They're from Phoenix, Arizona. They're called the Versatiles. The Versatiles, December 1962 release on the Ramco label, song entitled Blue Feeling, similar to like a Marcel's sound there. Now, 1966, they changed their name to the Four Dimensions, and they cut a record on the Ramco label. As we continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, up next, got a request for Joe Shacatano, this group from Paterson, New Jersey in 1961. Actually, this group from Paterson, New Jersey, in 1963, they signed with Rust Records, and they had 2 releases on the Rust label. We're going to give a listen to their first, which features Bob Miranda on lead. Of course, Bob Miranda, of course, would become the lead singer of The Happenings, as this group called the Four Graduates would eventually become The Happenings and record for BT Puppy. Prior to that, they were known as the Four Graduates. This one from April 63, by request for Joe Shacatano on the Rust label. The song is called Picture of an Angel.
Picture an angel, a beautiful angel, and you picture my darling Denise.
She's starlight and moonbeams. She's a fire in my brain.
Yeah, she's the fire,
Fire in my dreams. Within her there's magic, a wonderful magic that is hard, oh so hard to believe. The spell that I'm under, it's really no wonder that I've fallen in love with Denise.
all of my plans, all of my schemes are wrapped in this teenage dream. I hope and pray that she'll always stay forever. Come what may, I'll always stay in love with my darling Denise.
Heaven above me, please make her love me.
Please make her love me,
As by request for Joe Shacatano, the Four Graduates, a.k.a. The Happenings, Bob Miranda on lead, April 1963. Picture of an Angel is the name of that one on the Rust label. 3 more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, last week I played a request for the doo-wop couple by a group called The Wonders. The Wonders from June of 63 on the Colpix label. They requested the B-side of the 45, a song entitled Marilyn, but I like the A-side here, which charted number 12 on WCOL in Columbus, Ohio. It was also number 14 on WITH in Baltimore, Maryland. It features Frank Spinale Harris, or Spinale Harris on lead. Paris, I'm sorry, it's getting late. Paris on lead. This one from June 63. These are the Wonders on the Colpix record label with their tune called Say There.
Say there, say there, say there, what's your name, little girl? Say there, did you say your name is Pearl? You know I need you so much that I could cry. I'm calling on you right now. Oh, baby. I'm calling on you right now. Say there. Come over here to me. Say there. I love you. Now can you see? Because my life depends on you right now. I'm calling on you right now. Oh, baby. I'm calling on you right now. It's so true, baby. Say there. Say there. Say there. I need you by my side. Say there. My love for you I'll never hide, because you stole my heart from me. It's so true, little baby. Oh, baby. I'm calling on you right now. It's so true, little baby. Say there. Say there. Say there. Say there. Say
Those are the Wonders there. I like that side there. Say There, June 1963. Frankie Spinale Paris on lead there, Colpix Records. Say There. I brought out my promo vinyl copy for that. You got to get that on the vinyl copy. 2 more 45s to go here before Johnny G signs off. Let's stay in the year 1963. This is a girl group, and posted this one up on my Facebook wall too. And not many people know about this 45. I think one I saw that sold on eBay. I don't know if 45, not 45 Cat, but Pop Psych still has it, but a G Plus copy of this sold for $899. But the group is from Los Angeles, California. They formed while attending Jefferson High School. This is their debut single. It was written by the lead singer of the group. Her name is Frances Gray, and this is the intended A-side. They had other releases that came out on the M&M label, which is a good record too, by the way, which I have. And I have also others on the Wolfie, on the Beshi, Sleeper, Challenge, and Valiant labels. But this one's on the Kentone label. That's their debut single from June 63. They're called the Francettes. It's called Won't Somebody Want Me?
Won't someone please want me? Won't somebody care? I know there's a thought with whom I can share. This love of mine, like no other love, it is a real true love. Won't somebody want me? Won't somebody want me? Sweet and all night.
That's a rare girl group sound there. We're going to send that one out to John Clemente. He's got to hear that one on the archive, even if he knows that one, if it was released there. The Francettes, June 1963. Not many people know about this record on the Kentone label. Won't Somebody Want Me? That tune is on, I'm sorry, that features Francis Gray on lead. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with me, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. You can also go to my website, vinyltreasures.net. You can stream or download the show there for your listening pleasure. You can also go to my YouTube page and you can visually see me, not me, but you can see the records I play here every Saturday night from 10 to midnight, actually from 10 to 1 a.m. A little early today, but I didn't think I was going to make it. I'm still losing my breath a little bit with this allergy. But anyway, I'm glad you stuck around, those of you in my chat room here. And we're going to close the show tonight with, actually, it's a request for Evan Blatt. I had this sitting in the box for a long time. It's one of the later releases by Shep and the Limelights. This was a big Pittsburgh record, if I'm not mistaken, on the Hull label. Shep and the Limelights with Party for Two from 1965. That's our closer tonight. And I thank you so much for tuning in. Please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarities show. It all starts at 9 o'clock here on Top Shelf Oldies, 9 to midnight right here. And all the shows during the week on Top Shelf. I'll be back next Saturday at 10 o'clock for more 1950s and early 60s 45s out of my collection. So continue to send me your requests. I do have some. Those of you that were typing in the YouTube chat, Charlene has been marking those down. Charlene, thank you so much again for all your help. I couldn't do the show without you. But anyway, folks, that's going to do it. Want everybody to have a safe and happy week. I'll see you here next Saturday at 10 o'clock right here on the Vinyl Treasure Show and Top Shelf Oldies. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
Coming right on over to your house, bringing my records and my stereo. No one's invited but you and me. We're having a party for two. We'll spend part of the evening just talking about all the things we plan. If anyone comes by, we won't let them in, 'cause we're having a party for two. It is so nice. It's nice to have you all alone. It is so nice to hold you in my arms. It is so nice.
That was an appropriate closer, really. I rarely play a record that says goodnight. There you go. Party for Two, Evan Blatt's request. It was there for a while. There you go. But this is 1965, I think, Daryl, on that one. Didn't have all the write-up on that. I had a tough day today, really. It's very hot up here. I turned the AC off because it blocks my little mural thing in the back there. So anyway, folks, thanks a lot for sticking around this late hour, and that's going to do it. I'll be back next Saturday again for more records out of my collection. Again, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I enjoy playing these records for you. And again, thank you so much. Stay safe, everybody, because this virus is crazy. Even affected my nephew's got a quarantine for 14 days because he didn't listen to his father. He's 18 years old, went to a party, and they all got sick in Westfield, New Jersey. 19 cases, so they got to be careful. So haven't seen them now in a couple months, but still. But anyway, folks, again, stay safe. I'll see you next Saturday right here on the Vinyltreasure Show. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.